Very somber anniversary this weekend. Sunday will mark the 6-month anniversary of the Las Vegas massacre. We're still no closer to knowing why the shooter did it. One of his brothers, though, is speaking out for the first time and could have some answers.
Why do people do stupid things? Because they don't have the right thing to do. He was off on his own. He lived his own life. Sure, he had money. That money ran out. You can only put so much money in Vegas, no matter how good at pushing a pencil you are. Sooner or later, Vegas is going to win. The odds are against you. He went out and did what he did over hookers and coke. There's only so much of that you can put up with in your life.
That interview conducted by Jim Breslo, host of Hidden Truth, Las Vegas Shooter podcast. Pardon me, Jim joins me now live in studio. What did you make of that when he said that to you, that his brother did this over hookers and coke?
Yeah, he talked about the controlling nature of his brother. He talked about when growing up, he was always the overachiever. He wanted to attain material goods. He would point in the family dining room to the vases and crystals in there and say one day this was going to be his. So this was a guy that was motivated by wealth and controlling. And here he's trying to control the machines in Vegas to win money, to attain that wealth. And when it starts going south for him and he starts losing big, everything cracks for him. That would be what he says. I mean, to snap in this way, nobody could understand the snapping in that way.
Right.
But yes, a combination of losing his fortune in the machines. We don't have confirmation that he really did lose any, but there is belief that he did start losing. We know at the end of the day you can't beat those machines.
No.
But you know, he talked about pushing a pencil. The other brother believes that he was very focused on trying to beat those machines. His dad was a bank robber. He was beating the banks.
I remember hearing about this.
Here's the son trying to outdo the father by beating the machines.
This is a colorful character in his own right. He's had his own, I mean, is it fair to say, brushes with the law?
Yes. Bruce Paddock is currently facing his own charges in Los Angeles for possession of child pornography. There was also child pornography found on the shooter's computer. The father was also on the FBI's most wanted list in Las Vegas, was arrested in Las Vegas. So you have an unbelievable family tragedy here. You've got clearly some mental health issues. You've got children being raised without a father. They learned for the first time that they even have a father when they're about 20 years old.
Goodness.
Mother had raised them to believe that he was dead.
Talk about other news being made. He shared with you, and I want to listen to this clip, I think it's really instructive too, is when he learned of the massacre. Let's listen to that clip.
I saw that, you know, that CNN and every channel had this shooting, and I looked again, and they said Stephen Paddock, and I said, what? So I called my mom, and my mom answered the phone, and I said, is that Steve? And she said, I guess so. And I asked her, was he sick like me? She didn't want to talk about it.
He broke down.
Yeah.
What do you think he meant by that?
Well, you know, I followed up with him on that when he talked about a sickness, because we would all assume that he's talking about a mental illness in the family. He is suffering from spinal stenosis. In fact, he's in a wheelchair, Bruce is right now, and a big scar on his neck, and he's due for surgery soon. His brother had back surgery when he was younger. So what he says he was referring to is that, hey, if my brother Stephen was in the kind of pain that I'm in, I could understand wanting to commit suicide. I then asked him, okay, but...
He didn't do that.
He didn't do that. He did more. But murder-suicides are something that we see very often.
That's true.
Why?
Massacre-suicide is not...
Very, very unique, and hence the reason why the FBI is still, you know, in the middle of their investigation, because,
This is obviously a man who's clearly troubled. You saw him break down talking about what happened, the pain in their family. He says also that he's sorry that this all happened. Can we play that clip as well?
I don't know how to say I'm sorry enough for what's happened. I had no control over it. I wish I would have been in touch with him more so I could have had control over it and stopped it. It's about as far as I can go. I believe maybe if I was there in his life, that I could have talked some sense into him, but people like that live for themselves are pretty much unreachable.
Jim, you sat with him for over an hour. What was your takeaway of your time with him?
Well, he was pretty emotional and clearly wanted to apologize to the victims. To be part of a family like this, to be struggling like this, I think he finally wanted to speak out and let the victims know how he felt. He said his mother did not want him to do the interview, and mother refuses to talk about the shooting, can't bring it up with her. She's 90 years old. He said still has the mind of a 20-year-old, though.
Jim Breslo, thanks for being here.
Thank
really
you.
Appreciate it. Host of the Hidden Truth Las Vegas Shooter podcast. Find it where you listen to your podcasts.